Before we dive in, make sure you hit subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss the biggest energy and infrastructure shifts happening across the Caribbean, because what just happened in Guyana could reshape the region's future. The global energy map is shifting again, and this time the spotlight is on Guyana, not just because of its massive offshore oil discoveries, but because of who is now stepping into the conversation. At the 2026 Guyana Energy Conference and Supply Chain Expo in Georgetown, President Irfaan Ali stood alongside Saudi Arabia's Minister of State for Foreign Affairs and Climate Envoy Adel bin Ahmed Al-Jubeir, signaling something much bigger than a routine diplomatic visit. This was not just about courtesy remarks or symbolic partnership. This was about alignment between one of the world's most established oil powerhouses and one of the fastest rising new energy producers on the planet. Guyana, once known primarily for its agriculture and vast rainforest, is now being treated as a serious player in global energy diplomacy, and Saudi Arabia's presence confirms that the world is paying attention. To understand the weight of this moment, you have to look at where Guyana stands today. Since the first major offshore discoveries by ExxonMobil in 2015, the country has moved from zero oil production to becoming one of the fastest-growing economies in the world. Billions of barrels of recoverable oil have been identified in the Stabroek Block, transforming national revenues and redefining the country's development trajectory. Production has scaled rapidly, with multiple FPSOs operating offshore and more projects in the pipeline. With every new development phase, Guyana's influence grows, not just regionally in the Caribbean, but globally among energy exporters. That rise has drawn the attention of major powers, including the United States, China, and now Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia's interest is not accidental. As the de facto leader of OPEC and one of the most influential voices in global oil markets, the kingdom understands the importance of emerging producers. Guyana represents something unique, a new frontier basin with low break-even costs, long production horizons, and a government that is openly positioning itself as both pro-development and sustainability-focused. When Al-Jubeir addressed the conference audience at the Marriott Hotel in Kingston, Georgetown, he emphasized pragmatism over ideology and partnership over politics. His message was clear. Saudi Arabia sees Guyana not as a competitor, but as a partner in shaping the future of offshore oil development, while navigating the pressures of global climate commitments. This alignment is significant because the global energy conversation is increasingly polarized. On one side, there are calls for rapid fossil fuel phase-outs. On the other, there is recognition that oil and gas remain critical to global energy security, especially in developing economies. Guyana and Saudi Arabia appear to be positioning themselves in a middle ground, expanding offshore production while investing in sustainability, diversification, and environmental safeguards. Guyana, despite becoming a major oil producer, remains one of the world's most forested countries, with vast carbon sinks that offset emissions. The country has consistently argued that it can produce oil responsibly while maintaining its low deforestation rates and biodiversity commitments. For Guyana, the oil revenues are not just numbers on a balance sheet. They are being channeled into infrastructure expansion, road networks, bridges, port facilities, healthcare upgrades, educational institutions, housing schemes, and energy diversification projects. Massive highway expansions are underway. Shore-based infrastructure is expanding to support offshore logistics. New gas-to-energy projects are being developed to reduce electricity costs domestically. The government's strategy is clear: use oil wealth as a catalyst to modernize the country and lift living standards while avoiding the so-called resource curse that has plagued other oil-producing nations. Saudi Arabia brings experience in managing large-scale hydrocarbon wealth and transitioning portions of its economy through long-term strategic planning. Under its Vision 2030 framework, the kingdom has sought to diversify its economy beyond oil while still maintaining dominance in global energy markets. That experience is something Guyana can study closely. Capacity building, technical training, investment partnerships, and knowledge exchange are areas where cooperation could deepen. Al-Jubeir specifically highlighted collaboration in water management, land restoration, and green tourism, areas that align closely with Guyana's environmental priorities. The optics of this meeting matter as well. Guyana hosting representatives from 32 countries at its energy conference demonstrates how far it has come in less than a decade. The Marriott Hotel in Georgetown has effectively become a hub for global energy diplomacy each year during this conference. International service companies, financiers, policymakers, and investors gather to assess opportunities not just in oil extraction, but across the entire supply chain: logistics, fabrication, environmental services, digital monitoring systems, and local content development. The presence of Saudi Arabia elevates the conference's stature, signaling that Guyana is now part of higher-level strategic conversations about the future of offshore development.